comparing EQO and Sparkle's Genji, while also looking just in general how Genji kind of plays in this meta, how we can maximize our use of Genji and get the most value that we can, as these players generally do. So really what you want to be focusing on with Genji is a lot of your pre-fight positioning. So I'm going to be taking a look at where did I start on Rialto? I don't want to start on Rialto. But you want to be looking at a lot of pre-fight positioning, a lot of where these players are starting fights and where they're ending fights. Because very often what I think you'll see is that these players are positioned very, very aggressively at the beginning of fight, and then as the fight progresses, they end up with the rest of their team safe, while also having farmed, you know, maybe 40, 50, 60% of a blade. And then once you're at that much of an advantage in the neutral, you just have like a really good setup for the next fight. So okay, let's get started. So here, I don't think Paris actually rolled out on Genji because they have Nico in.
3, 2, 1.
So we'll just watch from EQ's perspective. See, he's pretty conservative with you see how, okay, let's look at how Fusion in general is playing right now. So EQO is over here, obviously, with his off angle, and then the rest of his team is kind of slow pushing through main. So EQO is not going to be the main focus of the team. You can see how like the Ryan and May are currently looking at him, but as the rest of his team pushes in, he's going to be kind of unlocked because the Ryan is going to have to transition to this frontline battle. So what I'm expecting to see here is EQO is going to move around this area to the doorway over here. So the Ryan's going to move, and then EQO is going to take this space and start harassing into the back line. And then as his tanks move in with the brig and everything like that, then he's going to start, you know, really spamming through and then dashing through as many people to get back to his team as the enemy team starts looking at him. So Paris is actually playing really smart right now by really zoning off. He's kind of forced back, but now he's just going to play the other angle. He's kind of slow poking out. Not hitting too many shots right now, but doesn't matter so much. Armor packs, so now he's a lot safer to go in. Fusion's playing really slow, I think. Okay, see now? Okay, so now let's see what his team's doing. So now we see Orisa has pushed onto the point. So Sada's probably going to die. But as the tanks push onto the point, we see EQO moves in and starts to move aggressively. He's looking at the Symmetric, he's looking at the Baptiste. Trying to get enough damage in. He tries to get a dash set onto the Symmetric. It's okay. It seems like Paris really had a read on what he's going to be doing there. They really hard to scout. Yeah, see how he like. Let me roll that back and show you what happened. This is like a more mechanics thing. So he's right here. He's behind the whole enemy team, right? None of them are on the point. But he's behind the whole team, and he's going to right click, dash. Now he has assassinated the Mei, who like probably should have been healed. Like I don't know if Fielder had lamp or not. Maybe he was on. Yeah, he didn't have lamp. So he just assassinated this Mei, and he dashed out, and he's gonna live.
Weekends burst.
Now again, and he's already 73 to blade, which is like pretty good. If you compare it to like, okay, Soon kind of farmed pretty hard, but Nico only has back to his Blizzard. There might be just like okay, looks like they're gonna semi-Blizzard. going to this off angle. He always returning to this off angle, right? You're kind of playing it like Tracer, right? But you're just like always thinking about your dash. Because like if you were playing Tracer in this kind of scenario, you would also be on like this area or this area back here, right? Except the only thing with Genji is you can't go as far because you have less defensive capabilities. So he's kind of just advancing through. This is his dash, but it doesn't matter. And now as his team has moved in, he's really unlocked. So now he's just going in, playing for dash resets, and just playing super aggressively. So he's just right-click dashing through as many people as possible as his team moves in. Let's watch that from the team perspective. Go back a little further. Put on deep overlay. It's okay. Now we see how this fight begins. Carpe gets a really nice dynamite, that's fair. But now he's just playing over here. His tanks are pushing in. His Brig's pushing in. Okay, now he's dashing in. Now he's committing, right? This is where you want to be committing. Like once your team has an advantage, it doesn't even have to necessarily be kills, right? It just has to be positional advantage. Like even if they were technically even, like kill wise, just the Orisa being able to spam out the Rhine Sigma enough to push in, like onto this point, is enough to unlock the Genji. So now that he is like totally unlocked, I'm just gonna dash through people. He has a pull. So let's watch how he sets up in this fight. I would guess he's gonna go to the high ground, but he might not. This team's playing kind of defensively. Maybe they're not even trying to play this fight. Or it could be disrespecting the ultimates that they have, because you see how Eternal has a lot of really strong ultimates here. They're probably just respecting that.
Enemy.
Now again, he's just going on that off angle. He sees, alright, their team is pushing in this way, let me go behind them. Gets the armor pack, which obviously, you know, we don't have armor pack anymore. And this is really strong right here. So when we know we're going for a flux play, you want to be coordinating with Sigma to like go in, try to like just one tap somebody in the Sigma ult. Because if you can just go in quickly and kill the Baptiste, especially like if we catch Baptiste, if you can go in and kill the Baptiste while he's in the air, like getting a nice left click or right click dash onto the Baptiste, and he doesn't lamp, then Sigma ult gets insane amount of value. That was a really nice he saw that basically their entire team was chunked. Let's go watch that in slow motion. Okay, so now the flux just ended. You can see health bars. Basically everybody on Eternal is tagged. So he's gonna pull out the blade, just really quickly dash slash through Baptiste, and Nico's trying to freeze him, but he kites it. And just really clean play. You can notice how he doesn't initiate with the blade either. So that's a big thing with blade right now, is you really cannot initiate with it. So I guess like initiating fights, initiating ultimates in this meta are really like window or Bap ult, yeah, window or Brig ult, I mean, Sig ult. Occasionally Orisa ult can be okay as an initiation. I'm not personally a fan of it, but you see how he pulls out the blade as like a lot of these abilities have come out. Like he saw, okay, the lamp came out for the flux. Okay, the like shift ability from Baptiste came out. The speed boost came in already, so they didn't have the ability to kite out the blade. He still had the beat, right, but all of those other defensive abilities allowed him to still get that one tap onto somebody, and especially like the BAP was really big. So he was able to get that one tap and then continue on blading and doing damage despite even the B being there. So that was just really smart play from EQO and good time.
My aim is unerring.
Quadruple kill. We'll save you behind the barrier.
So okay, now they know that the Eternal is going to do this TP strat. So he rotates back to point. This is not where Genji wants to be playing, so he's gonna dash through. Spot here. I think the Eternal just got really got the jump on EQO and the rest of his team, obviously. Probably where EQO wanted to have been playing is actually where he ended up dashing to. So he saw their team TPing, so they're gonna force point. So the rotation there was good. It was just slow, I think, from Fusion. But yeah, he wanted to like go to the outside of the point and just start like spamming again. But he kind of used his dash in a bit of an awkward way. I think got frozen. Again, back here. See the main wall down.
Step inside, stay alive.
Here they get the sim ult out, which is really big for them. And again, going back to this angle. Yeah. He really needed to go there quicker, I think, and get to his blade for Fusion to even have a chance. Yeah, Eternal really played really fast and really smart to kind of negate EQO and the rest of us, honestly.
Ready for battle.
Okay, let me see if we can anybody switches to. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. Okay, so Eternal won that map with some really nice Mei set play. KR, I'm pretty sure they play Genji. And here I think Sparkle also comes in.
Ready for battle.
Yeah, he's playing the Genji. So this is a good chance for us to watch how Sparkle plays.
Ready for battle. Let me patch that up.
Okay.
Defend objective A.
So already I'm seeing Sparkle is a lot more frontline. Not as much on the off angle. He has excellent reload. So here, alright, so he sees that Fusion is going through Hotel. So what he's probably going to do here is wrap around this back area. And probably either 1v1 EQO, which is like, you know, it's okay. He has armor packs as well. So, you know, he can take that 1v1. But I think more likely is what's going to happen is Hanbin is going to rotate over here. And then they're just going to kind of pincer the Fusion. So let's see it from Sparkle.
I am ready.
I do want to point out his deflect timing there. So deflect is like a really good ability with the kind of meta that has situated, right? There's so much spam and so much just like primary firing all the time from all of the characters, like fucking Orisa and Sigma and Ashe and whatever other hit scan may be played, or just kind of right click or left clicking all the time, right? So the way Sparkle played this, where he just kind of dashed through, and then he knows, okay, now their team is looking at me. He pulls out the deflect right then, and that way he really maximizes how much damage he gets off of the deflect. And you can see he's already 20% up on EQO, and a lot of that is just from that deflect. Like, we can watch that again, and I'll show you just how key that deflection is. Right here, 23, 23, 33.
I am ready.
Starts to deflect. Yeah, he builds like almost 10% off of that. That's not really defensive though. It's the way they just pull and then left click or right click dash. Carpe is clicking. That's kind of Sparkle's sequence. Just kind of like dashes or right click dashes. As the team looks at him, he deflects, and then he uses his jumps and all of that to get away. I would watch that from EQO's perspective, but I don't think EQO really did anything. Probably just like threw left clicks from a distance and carpe click.
Stop the payload.
Okay, let's watch where Sparkle steps up. He has his blade also, so probably we will see him try to use his blade. That's kind of Eternal's whole win con. So get Sparkle to blade, let Sparkle blade well. We'll also pay attention to how his team sets up the blade. So they don't actually do much to their ball. I don't think they would. Okay. Yeah, that was just him like mechanically flexing. I would have liked to see Flux first and then the blade.
No one can hide from my sight.
But yeah, I mean that just felt kind of awkward how Sparkle just used the blade right then. He may have been thinking that like, okay, I have a really big ult advantage right now, and I should use it. But at the same time, it's just a basic ability still there. That dash is really awkward. Okay, let's go watch EQO for a bit. EQO, more reserved, more passive with his play, I think. Here he's just spamming a bit.
All better. Payload in motion.
And he's gonna try to clear out the Sigma probably. Okay, so he's cleared. Now he has access to this entire high ground area. He wants it. Doesn't look like he'll be sticking around, but he might just rotate the other way.
What is that melody?
Now we see. Yeah, and they combined the blade to get the instant one tap onto the BAP in the air.
I am ready.
Because the flux on the very initial part does like 50 damage, I think. So, and then blade doing what, 120, I think. I need to check that. Pretty sure it's 120. Just a basic blade. So okay, yeah, Dragon Blade damage 120. Yeah, so he can just one tap the BAP in the air by dashing through him, blade, so dash, blade, and then slash. And then the BAP instantly dies, and they get a lot of damage on. They get a lot of damage on their team because that isn't there, and you can fight off of that. So the Genji with the Sigil is like a good way to just guarantee a fight. It's a pretty large investment, but if you're good with farming your blade, which is what I would like you to focus on, you know, playing your off angles, farming blade as fast as possible. Because like EQO, we didn't really see him doing anything, right? But he managed to farm his blade really, really effectively, and that's kind of the win con that Philly was playing to. And Sparkle, same thing, right? Now he's on his second blade, as he just got his first, or just used his first thing. Maybe here he's gonna go for the blade again. We're gonna go for long. And again, There's no setup for him, right? And Fusion knows he's coming in with the blade because they know Sparkle has been farming them, so they kite back really, really well. Like, the only target that he really had was Fury, and Fury ends up dying, yes, but it's just not enough for Fusion, or for Eternal, I mean, to clean up that whole fight. Let's see if Fusion can end up winning this. They should be able to. Let's watch what EQO was doing for that little bit as well. Okay, so here, trying to get the kill for Widow. And here, okay, so we see he knows, right, that his team just really effectively kited out this blade from Sparkle. He has the faith in his team to survive that blade and then push in, and now he is like walking into these tanks, right? He should normally not even be able to come close to these guys, but he knows that his team is pressuring from behind him. He has armor packs from Alarm coming in. Like, you can see Alarm probably has a pack that he just threw a pack onto EQO, and he's like big chunk. This is maybe not as possible right now with Breakner, but like the idea remains the same. Right? He has the tanks to be able to walk in. Probably get it here. Right here, this looks like a good play. Landing with the hands. So much HP now Sparkle's gonna bleed, so let's take a look at Sparkle's POV. They get the pull dash.
No one can hide from my sight.
I think his focus here is really just getting to this play. So there you can see again, he dashes through like 5 people maybe? Right here is the mid-fight blade. He's gonna get a lot. But it was enough, right? He was able to farm up to his blade and get the kills he needed to win. You can see how both Sparkle and EQO are contesting for this angle, right? Because this angle gives you a lot of space. Both of them are trying to farm their blades right now. So they're both going to contest for this angle, and kind of whoever wins out from this trade, whoever gets the most support from their team, is going to get to keep this angle, and from there farm up really, really effectively. Now Carpe's coming to help secure this angle, and so Sparkle can't really win that anymore because he has a Widow with him. But we'll watch what Sparkle does anyway.
Let them out! I require healing.
Yeah, so it's just going back to this angle. Thanking it out.
I am ready.
Do something!
Assassination, but Alarm is paying attention. was a really good play from Carpe and EQO to really make sure Sparkle couldn't get that access, that farming angle.
Fully healed.
But teams may not contest you for that, right? If they don't have the Genji to contest you for it, or they don't have the like characters to be able to get on you up here, this may just remain free. And if it's free, like obviously, you know, you take it. Landing these primary fires. It's gonna get this blade really soon. Both this blade. It's out.
Double.
I'm on fire.
Really nice mechanics also. Sparkle.
You're fully healed. Yeah.
Now on the offense, let's watch what Ichiro is going to go for. So he's going to come around Mega maybe. Probably just going to go back to this high ground.
Be merry.
Yeah, so I can't really do anything.
60 seconds.
I have to wait for Fury. Again, fighting for this high ground. This time Sparkle gets support from his team. So this time you saw how Ben Best pulled EQO back and let Sparkle get the extra right-click dash onto him, and now Sparkle has won that duel for this high ground. We'll see what he does with it. So he's going to go back up here, press dash, and now he's going to fight Carpe. Because Carpe also wants this angle, right? But Sparkle in the 1v1 has a major advantage over the Ashe, so Carpe will not be able to stand up here.
No one can hide on my side.
Sparkle is really, really unlocked here. So much space. They're tired. Really outplays EQO. Dash gets his.
Let them out.
Yeah, he was really kicked out. Now,
Ready.
let's watch what Sparkle does on the offense here. Want to especially pay attention to the neutral game.
4, 3.
Watch what he does. Because what I'm thinking is the Ben Best will pull for him and he will dash.
Defend
And
objective
they will just try to take that combo.
In our orbit.
He walks up as they're all spamming, kind of straight up walks at them as they're spamming shields and stuff, and then walks into the damage, hits his deflect, and forces them back. Really effective space creating tool there. And so you see how he's just using his jumps to, like, after he dashes in. That's something that you don't see from EQO, and it's something that makes Sparkle play a much bigger advantage. It's obviously a lot harder to do and requires a lot more team effort behind it, because like Eternal is entirely playing through Sparkle, right? But whereas EQO is like not so much. Let's see what's EQO doing here. EQO is like on a long flank, so EQO style is a lot more off-angle farming, while Sparkle style is a lot more right-click dash, quick farming like that. So EQO is a lot playing for more of the blade, while Sparkle is kind of just like nice thing play. But you see how Fusion is playing super smart here actually, because they know that they do the lamp. Let's watch this fight from a bigger perspective. We have this big tank fight going on over here. Oh yeah, EQO was actually zoning out Exy, so this was good from EQO in that he was making Exy not be in the fight basically. But he had the super back. And now, probably EQO was calling out to his team, no Widow, push in. So now his team is going to go aggressively in, and EQO is going to be able to, he's going to get his opportunity to right-click dash through the Eternal. Eternal recognizes this is happening, but EQO outplays it. And yeah, really clean play. A good heads up from EQO to recognize that XZ is a big threat here. However, due to his playstyle, Sparkle does have Blade. So probably what they're going to do is just play the straight up Blade, because you can see he is actually the first ultimate in the game. This is entirely due to Sparkle and Eternal's playstyle of just getting Sparkle into a position where he can do as much damage as possible, where he's just farming tanks, farming the front line basically, and dashing through 60. Let's check out where EQO's playing. EQO's on this high ground, he's waiting for XZ probably. Oh wow. I don't know if he knew that XZ was there, but XZ kind of... You see how he doesn't dash into them, he actually dashes out. This is like actually a really smart strategy for your Blade. Let's watch it again. It's a good strategy for your Blade because obviously when you Blade, the focus turns entirely to you. So he realized, or Sparkle realizes that the fusion is gonna play around his Blade. So what he does is he dashes in, blades, gets a slash off, and then dashes out. And then, like, due to the extra movement speed that you get with Blade, he's still able to go back in and get another slash or two off. We'll actually see how much. I'll change perspective on this. Yeah.
I require healing.
He dashes, gets a blade, gets a big slash onto 3 people, I think, maybe 2 people. So Boombox and Alarm get a slash through. And then he's behind them now, and he's going to dash through them, gets the extra 50 damage. You can see fusion is extremely low at this point. They're going to break the lamp and then probably kill them all. And you can see like how right in this moment the entire enemy team is turned towards where Sparkle was, because that's like where he was blading. And then he dashes through them, makes them have to like turn around and look at him instead, and if they don't, he's just going to slash them all through the back. Also helps a lot that his team is really pushing in, and pushing super aggressively. Yeah, Sparkle with the raw blade is really something. He gets away with it a lot because of how his team plays for it. It's also him recognizing like the limitations of genji, right? Like, he's not an invincible character. He knows like, okay, if I go behind them and dash through them, then I can be safe. He knows, okay, can I dash through all 5 of them right here and potentially get a kill? Yes, the answer is yes, because they used so-and-so ability. Stuff like that kind of minute-to-minute, or second-to-second really thinking. Is what really is separating Sparkle from a lot of the other Genjis, I think. Or at least like non-owl Genjis. Uses his deflect like beautifully right there. EQO was just not prepared for that. EQO also kind of playing in an odd place. I'm not totally sure why.
Activating the barriers.
Right there.
I require healing.
Nice dash. He knows that timing too with the halt because if you halt or if you dash too early when you're getting halted, the halt will actually still pull you. So that is an important fact to know. Again, Sparkle is almost to his second blade, while EQO has not even used his first yet. What's EQO's blade doing? Blade's a little bit. Let's go back and watch that EQO. So you see he's using his high ground. He dashes out of the sigil. Comes around this way. Over here.
Hello.
Here he's just playing this angle to be able to get as much farm as he can off. Although the Eternal recognizes this and goes the far right side to kind of deny this this angle. So let's see how they actually approach this. Oh, nice pull. Very good dynamite. So yeah, that pull and that dynamite forced them back. And now EQO is back to playing this high ground. So EQO is very, very kind of scripted in his style. He knows the play. He knows where he's gonna stand. He knows where he's going to end up. Whereas Sparkle is he has a lot more variance and a lot more creativity, I think, to his play, which I think really gives Eternal an edge. So yeah, you dashes, right click dashes, they're back. They're falling into his team, but with Boombox being dead, I don't think Fusion will win this. Yeah. So they played to try to get or maybe they just wanted to reset because they knew Boombox. I'm not sure. I don't know what comms were going on there, but. Again, we're gonna see this fight get this high ground. Feels Xy, so they trade ashes. Yeah, this angle is just really, really nice. You see how much free damage he's getting off onto these tanks. He's gonna get his blade really soon. And again, he has lapped EQO on blades, so that's a really important thing to realize.
I need healing. I require healing. What?
Another tech with Genji slash. You can in a similar way to what you do with like a Reinhardt or a Brigitte primary fire. You can actually extend the hitbox by kind of swinging your mouse. So if you start off like in one area and kind of like swing around, maybe I can show that in like a practice game to demonstrate that to you. But basically, with all melee abilities, the hitbox can be extended just slightly to get more damage off onto more people. And with Genji Blade, it's a pretty Fusion kind of circles the Eternal there. Actually, EQO bladed there. Oops. Let me see how EQO played this fight out. And goes high ground. He sees this tank line coming around the flank, right? So I'm guessing he's gonna rotate to this side to kind of mark this this rotation. It's here where he actually goes. Cancels his dash, or deflect at the right time to get an extra flash off.
Barrier's about to break.
Which is actually a bit crucial in the open. Well, it's not as
I
crucial,
will not
but it's
waste
still a
this
cool
chance.
tech.
Stop right there. Get behind the one.
その程度か。競争だ。Observe the battle.
Expecting this high ground continues. Initiate with Bob. And here, okay, here we're gonna see the one tap. I can feel it. So they flux 3 people, and probably EQO is going to left click. He lands a left click onto XE and or Fielder, and then he's gonna right click dash through somebody and kill them instantly. Beautiful. It's just like a really good play. So the way the Fusion U, alright, we're gonna sig ult here, and then EQO knows, okay, they're gonna be all up in the air, so I'm going to sit on this high ground. I'm going to sit on a high ground where I can see those people who got fluxed up into the air, and then I'm going to left click, right click dash, and instantly kill one person. And they instantly kill XZ, which gives them a massive advantage in the rest of this fight, because they could basically kill XZ for free, force the lamp as well, and now EQO is going to probably go and kill the lamp and kill Fielder. Yep. The rest of it is just cleanup. It's a really nice play from EQO. That's something that I think is very easy to replicate, very easy to understand, something that I think you should look to understand as well. Right here, Sparkle, EQO again fighting for their high ground. Sparkle gets his blade. Almost has his blade. He's probably gonna play for this. Here it is, the Bongo comes out, the blade comes out with gold. And he just gets away with it, man. Like, he shouldn't be getting away with this, because, like, they have everything up, right? They have the... I was watching some of, like, they have Break Bash, they have Lamp, they have all these things, right? Extra Boombox actually has Lamp, yeah, Boombox has Lamp. They initiate with the Bongo, really nice Bongo placement from Ben Best. Make sure that Sparkle will have his blade damage boosted for the entirety of it, and he's gonna pull Alarm and Fury, gets the slash, immediate focus of the lamp, gets one tapped. Sparkle gets low, he's gonna get lamp. There's the lamp. He doesn't actually end up in the lamp, but he's getting healed anyway.
My barrier is destroyed.
He gets a double kill with his blade and dies, but it should be enough.
60 seconds.
Yeah, that's definitely. So yeah, it's I would review the rest of that map. I don't actually know who wins, but yeah, it's a really interesting difference in play style, and both I think are good between EQO and Sparkle. I personally favor EQO's style a bit more, even though they end up losing, but because I think that Sparkle's style requires a lot more investment from his team, and doesn't really unlock any of the other people on his team to really do anything. It's very reliant on him. Let me think. What do I want to review? Could review Gibraltar. Yeah, let's check out Gibraltar actually. Always been a very, very Genji heavy map, so it should be good to see how Genjis play on this map.
Ready
Meta.
for battle.
Great. Eternal ends up playing dive here. We're gonna kind of see the difference between with how Sparkle plays Genji within this dive round.
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
All systems operational.
4, 3, 2,
Hello
1.
there.
Attackers incoming.
Okay, so Ray's gonna jump up here and deflect something. Okay, so I mean, we'll just watch Sparkle then. So here he dashes through, gets his jump reset. He has no smite. No smite's jump gets fucked. He doesn't get the bubble timing correct, so Sparkle will not be able to do anything here. Almost die actually. He has Hanbin feeling for him. But they at least succeeded in forcing them off. Now we see Fury has to fight for this blue box, so No Smite and Fury will fight for that. No Smite obviously wins.
I require
Now this is where it gets a little awkward for Sparkle because he wants to be able to get a rotation eco feed. But he kind of wants to get a rotation either into like this area or onto blue box to be able to farm up, and then from blue box more than likely he's going to be looking to initiate something with No Smite. What happened there was basically No Smite jumped in with Sparkle. They forced the two healers back a little bit, and then they got a big chunk onto Sato, who was also forced back, forced gold as well. And they basically bought a lot of card space with that play. Now Sparkle gets his high ground a little bit, drop down. Sato's a little bit off, he's gonna die probably.
No power. Get in there.
But again, like it was in the middle of a fight, and Sparkle recognizes, okay, I'm gonna have my blade here. I'm just gonna blade them and clean up this fight. Because the Fusion had the possibility of re-engaging with like a lot of their ultimates there, because they rallied there and they windowed there. So potential for Fusion to actually come out on top of that fight. So Sparkle recognizes, okay, maybe I need to blade this, and I have my blade first. So I'm just going to whip it out and
I've got the payload on my
and it was nice that he also had the nano on top of it with Fielder. So yeah, playing on top of this shuttle. So we want to look at how they initiate this fight, how Eternal initiates this fight.
No one can hide from my sight.
Just using all of this map architecture to all of his jumps. Carpe gets cut off. Yeah, Carpe really made a big concede there. You can see how he uses that right like so smart. He basically dashes from behind the entire team, and then he shows up on the other side where they're already shooting, and they see this Genji come out and they're going to start shooting him, and then he deflects and gets a lot of damage in. So it's just really, really nice play from that.
Name's McCree.
got caught in an awkward spot.
You're powered up.
Actually deflected the flail. Really big range. Let's watch that back in slow motion.
You're powered up. Get in there.
Here, that's the dash and slash onto Fury. Sees alarm is looking at him, deflects. Deflect comes out from alarm, he deflects it. Now the only option alarm now has is the stun, and Sparkle is nanoed, so he probably won't get one tapped by the stun. He also has a really hard pocket coming in from FD God. Let's check out what FD God's doing right now. He's just like spamming, he's probably just spamming the packs onto Sparkle. It's right here, one spark, one pack onto Miss Smite. Okay, yeah, that one went into Sparkle, I think. Really nutty heals from Fielder. Right here, Billy's actually trying to fight this. They trade a lot of ultimates, interestingly, but Fielder already 80% to another blade. Which is kind of the consequence of them trying to fight that whole game. Throughout that entire fight, Sparkle is farming. That's another really key thing, is that EQO kind of only farms in like a kind of perfect situation, whereas Sparkle he kind of finds a way to farm almost all of the time, and that helps him get that really major advantage on his blades. There, just did a bunch of damage. We're not expecting Carpe to hit the shot.
I will not waste this chance. Keep the payload immortal.
Right here. He's playing to live because he knows he has the blade. See, there's a lot of setup happening here from Paris. No Smite's looking for his angle. He even delays it a little bit, and now he's going to force him to deflect. Really nice and smart positioning from Carpe there. He knows that the blade is coming, and that he can play at a range where he and the rest of his team, right, can play at a range where Carpe's High Noon can basically zone out Sparkle from the entirety of his blade. So this is another example of Fusion really understanding how Eternal is playing and how to play around it. Obviously Eternal wins the match in the end, but I think that's just due to a lot of variance from Eternal's side. But yeah, nice play from Carpe there, recognizing what Eternal would be going for. See if Eternal actually changes comps, because I think their comp got a lot weaker. Yeah, okay, so No Smite's gonna go to the Orisa, and Hounding's gonna go to the Sigma.
Observe the barrier.
Fielder's probably gonna go back. Okay. Now we're just back into the mirror.
I require healing.
See how EQO, or not EQO, Carpe's really hard marking Sparkle when he comes out this side. So he's kind of getting collapsed on by this DPS. So he has EQO shooting him when he's on this side trying to farm. Then he has Carpe marking him when he tries to come out on this side and get his flank off. So really, really good heads up play from the Fusion DPS. And then Sparkle's only option really is to try to go into their team and make something happen, but that gets negated because so much defensive capability.
The payload is halted.
60 seconds remaining.
I've got you covered.
So it's really nice to see that Fatal understands basically Eternal is the Sparkle show. Sparkle can live. The ground vault is another really effective strategy against Sparkle's style of playing, where he kind of dashes into the team. So what Sato does is he halts right on the ground when Sparkle is going to dash in, and then they're basically able to layer the CC onto Sparkle in one tap. Kind of empty on whether they're kind of turning it. Fist, don't really care about that. They actually end up capping it. So that's cool. We'll watch the defense, Genji.
One attackers incoming.
Starting out on this high ground, then really using as much as he can to get an advantage.
Patching you up.
Just building up those small advantages can really add up.
I'll take care.
So he dashes right there, but he actually misses. Kited back at smoke perfectly correct. That might have been you know, get the dash and smoke that's very low cooldown. Relatively low cooldown. Sparkle gets punished for his use of it a lot throughout the series, but he also goes unpunished quite a bit as well, and I think that's a big part of why Eternal ends up punishing. It's hard to punish Sparkle on every instance and going for his dashes. See how immediately all of Fusion is kiting back and trying to live, but he still is able to make a pick happen and buy enough time for Eternal to stabilize. A big part of that is also Eternal's tanks kind of cycle diving the high ground. So basically No Smite and Hanbin jump onto the high ground, try to buy a little bit of space, a little bit of time. They eat a lot of damage in that time, and then Fielder heals up that damage, builds up the Nano first, and then they get to the Nano Blade first. Now without the Nano Blade, we'll see what accomplish. Jumps on the boombox. Boombox is filled with a lamp. A lot of players that you'll play up against are not going to be that good with the lamp, so that is something that you can maybe get away with if you have the mechanics for it.
No one can hide from my sight.
Unstoppable.
Dash into this room and they're gonna put everything into the He's gonna live. This is kind of the theme of the match, right? It's like there's no way Sparkle lives here, right? And then he ends up living because his team is so behind him. It's really nice to see, actually. Really nice team play from Eternal. But at times it's just not enough. It's like him just living is obviously not enough, right? He needs to be able to do damage with his players. Dashes and just great kiting again. He has his blade now. He won't have the nano. Yeah, see again, this is a raw blade example. He maybe kills Alarm there. Potentially, if Alarm is like positioned a little bit worse or a little bit further forward, he gets the kill on Alarm. But the thing is, even if he does kill Alarm, it doesn't kill him out. He needs to be able to kill 2 to 3 there to make that work. He's kind of playing just to harass again. Like he's playing super far up, and they like he's playing just to farm, right? And right there they punish him for continuing to hold this aggressive angle. So basically, Fusion was able to walk past this area, so Sparkle could not be standing up here, right? There's too much susceptibility to getting CC'd to death, especially with Carpe now on the McCree. He's not going to be able to just like go in, stand up here, and continue to farm while the rest of his team kind of heals him from the back. He has no smite with him, but no smite alone is not enough to prevent his death.
Again.
This would help.
I don't know what Spark or Carpe is doing right there. I would have had to see the rest of the fight.
Excuse me for
Sparkle's returning to this position. We'll see if he gets punished for it again. No, he's actually gonna fall back this time. So he kind of learned his lesson. I think another option that you could have is playing this area, because I don't think many teams are going to end up coming this way. It's very long and doesn't actually get you anywhere. So I think as Genji you can play this angle and like kind of harass from this area, harass from this area. It's a bit riskier if they have a long range hit scan because you can just get one tapped. But if they're not playing like a long range hit scan, like here they have the McCree, who, you know, potential that he could just kill you, but I think with dash and deflect up, you can afford to play this angle. If they have an Ashe, not as viable, but I think that is an area that Sparkle could be playing. And you see how he's really touching this game anyway. So you can play this distance, farms to his blade. We'll see if actually will use his blade. I don't think he will just yet. Probably he's gonna wait for the rest of the game to come out. Right here, I think where he's gonna go for it. Maybe he won't. Maybe he doesn't even need it. Yeah, Fusion's positioning is really bad right now. So he has a lot of time to play with. See, they tried to rally for his blade, but it's just not enough. He goes to that dash slash combo, basically. Just kills the back line. That was good recognition also of where Fusion's back line was rotating to. He misses his dash there. Really big He killed Scarface. Top of that.
I require healing.
10 seconds.
He's gonna dash through. Cleaning up house. So yeah. I hope that was at least a little helpful to kind of see the two playstyles. I'd review more maps, but I'm kind of tired. And like these other maps, I don't think there's like anything too crazy on them. Like obviously map architecture varies on every map, but Genji does want to use that architecture and that high ground on just about every map that we can. So yeah, in conclusion, kind of a difference in playstyles. With EQO's Genji is, you know, a lot more waiting for the team and kind of supplementing his team with extra damage from an off angle, whereas Sparkle is the team is behind me and the team is going to support me as I dash through 6 people and try to live. If you want to learn deflect timings and deflect usage, definitely recommend checking out more of Sparkle's gameplay. His timings are just like impeccable. I think it's really nice to see. But if you want to see the more team-oriented, team-supporting Genji, I think EQO is who you want to look at. I think in general, just stuff to think about is just raw blading is a really bad initiation to any kind of fight. I think it's something you should avoid in like probably 90 times out of 100 you should avoid doing it. What other stuff? You know, utilizing off angles. You know, you can play kind of where Tracer would play, but you just have to be able to use architecture. You have to be able to use your abilities like your double jump and your wall climb to be able to quickly escape as soon as people start looking at you. And then as soon as you know people aren't looking at you and are instead looking at your tank line, that's when you know, alright, it's time for me to, like, I'm unleashed right now. So now I can be right-click dashing through 6 people and utilizing my damage abilities to help my team win the fight. So that kind of recognition of team play is super important. And yeah, also kind of recognize the limitations of your own mechanics. Obviously Genji, a very mechanical hero. There's stuff that Sparkle can do and get away with that probably you can't get away with even just in a raw mechanical skill matchup, because he's like, there are left clicks that he makes that just don't miss, and you know, right clicks in the same way. Oh yeah, and looking for like assassination attempts, especially in like early or neutral game scenarios where you can make that kind of assassination. Like you're behind the team, you early position yourself behind the team, and then, you know, dash through somebody back to your team. That's really powerful and something to think about when you're playing Genji. So yeah, as always, if you have any questions, I'm always here to answer them.